the drill. Capital letter Q for important questions or comments. And capital letter N if you are new to the broadcasting would like a little welcome.
Are we being gender fluid?
Oh no, we're just being silly.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our morning get-together live here on Facebook, where we connect with each other, we connect with good ideas, we connect with news from our city, state, and country, we connect from suggestions and questions that we share with one another, and all with the goal to have a more fulfilled, nurturing life here in Puerto Vallarta. Today is July the 2nd, and I have so many things to talk about today. This is wonderful. I love mornings like this. And of course, it rained last night. It was raining this morning. It is beautiful out, and I just hope you are having an amazing time. I ran out of coffee. I have no coffee in the house, so I need to go buy some coffee. So if I seem a little loopy, I haven't had my Java this morning, but I'm going to pretend that I'm caffeinated. Ooh, comments are coming in. I love it. Let me tackle the news first, and we'll get to your comments later on, as usual. For starters, this one caught me by surprise. Yesterday afternoon, SEAPAL announced another scheduled water service interruption for 8 centric colonias, including Altavista, Centro, Emiliano Zapata, and 5 de Diciembre. Since the announcement said that the water shortage would continue through this morning, I chose to share it today. And of course, this morning, first thing, I came across this announcement directly from SEAPAL, mentioning the same colonias and the fact that service will not be restored until this evening around 11 p.m. So be mindful of this if you happen to live in or work in 5 de Diciembre, Altavista, Centro, Emiliano Zapata, Lázaro Cárdenas, Olímpica, Las Canoas, and El Caloso. Now, let's talk about our governor, because if there's something that I've come to appreciate of Governor Alfaro, is that he doesn't take any bullshit. But it took me by surprise yesterday afternoon when he published a short video in which he publicly denounced the publisher of a Jalisco newspaper. According to Governor Alfaro, Carlos Álvarez del Castillo, who is the publisher and general manager at El Informador, has used his publication to defame and blackmail Governor Alfaro's administration with false accusations that have to do with public transportation, security, and the pollution of the Santiago River. Needless to say, Governor Alfaro backed his statements with facts. He stated, "You can attack me all you want, but as long as I'm the governor of Jalisco, you will not receive a single peso from my administration. If you are truly committed to informing the population, then stop publishing lies and publish responsibly." Tómala. That's a very formal stance and very serious stance coming from our governor. We'll have to see what happens moving forward. But I should mention that Informador is one of the publications that I go to looking for credible information. And of course, am I going to stop looking at them? Absolutely not. Because I think every publication, and this is not only happening in Mexico, I've seen it happening a lot north of the border, no matter how much specific publications claim to be unbiased, everybody has a slant. And you just need to take the information with a grain of salt. And that is what we try to do here at Coffee and Headlines every morning, to give you the most accurate, true information we can find. Moving right along, we just mentioned this a few days ago, but since they made it official yesterday, here it is again. Representatives of several sea turtle protection programs throughout the bay officially announced the beginning of sea turtle season yesterday morning in a simple but important event. I believe it took place at Playa Joli. This means that between now and the December months, we get to experience the beautiful ritual of sea turtles laying their eggs that are subsequently protected and then released. So this is good news. If you haven't had a chance to enjoy this, I strongly recommend it. And last, in our first block of news, Hurricane Beryl continued to intensify to a Category 5 storm, becoming extremely dangerous. I understand it's claimed 4 lives already. Due to its path, it is going to strike Mexico twice, first along the Yucatan Peninsula and then along the coast of Veracruz and Tamaulipas in the Gulf of Mexico. And this is expected to happen sometime between Thursday and Friday. At that point, we expect that the hurricane will head north and lose a bit of its intensity. Will we see anything from this hurricane in our coast? Probably increased rains. There's also a tropical formation developing on the Pacific Ocean, but it's still not large enough to raise major concerns. Let me see what we have here in terms of the weather. Oh, please. Rain stopping in 6 minutes. USA, USA, USA. Give me a break. 26 degrees. Humidity. Oh, my goodness. 93% humidity. So even if you sit still, you're still going to feel humid. What can I say? Our weather forecast for today says light rain throughout the day, a chance of rain of 86%, a high of 28 and a low of 22. Tomorrow, Wednesday, scattered thunderstorms are possible throughout the day, a chance of rain of 77, a high of 31, and a low of 21. Then Thursday, rain in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 82%, a high of 31, and a low of 21. And that's what we have for the first block. Let us keep clicking on things here on my little screen just to see what I put together for you. Yes, this morning I found out that Banderas News has published the latest update from the PUR Project, a nonprofit no-kill feline shelter just north of Puerto Vallarta. And check out this swanky wedding. This is at Puerto Vallarta's Church of Guadalupe. The nice pens at Tribuna de la Bahía referred to this wedding as imperial. That's how they described it. I mean, check it out. They took over an entire block with a red carpet. Who could be worthy of such a production? Well, it was none other than Puerto Vallarta's interim mayor, José Martínez Gil, who married Eugenia López Ventura this past Sunday. And the church even canceled 6 p.m. Mass for this massive event, and they canceled Mass without notice. So much for the fact that Mayor José Martínez Gil is part of the Morena party, which is supposed to represent the lower class and simple things and no excessive anything. But there you go. That was what President López Obrador would call a fifi wedding or a fancy wedding. But enough of that. I was so happy to receive fun email from some of you, so I'm going to tackle that now, if I may. Let me close all these things because they will make my broadcasts get sloppy. 1 second, and I am good to go. Okay, so the first one comes from Geraint. I am retiring to Puerto Vallarta in 2026. I will be back in Puerto Vallarta in September. And remember one of your episodes talking about transit fares. I cannot find the old episode now. Can you remember what the charge was? No more cash fares? Change in the rate? Well, I am happy to update you on this situation. as it is important to me as well. First of all, thank you for taking the time to write. Whenever you take the time to write a question, that means to me that it is important. First of all, you did not find it in the show notes because if something comes up as a question during the broadcast, it usually does not make the show notes. The show notes feature only the web addresses of articles that we are referencing. Now, about transit fares, they have not been increased in Puerto Vallarta, nor do we expect them to be increased. They continue to be the same. 10 pesos for everyone, 5 pesos for seniors and students. Now, we still pay cash. And whenever somebody tries to pay with a bill, it's usually a 20 peso bill. So what people will do is they'll try to stand around near the front door. And if they got up with a 20, they will try to get a single person and trade money so that the person that paid with a 20 ends up with 10 pesos change. There are cards that can be recharged. The cards are called Mi Transporte. And these cards can be recharged at Oxxos, as I understand it. But everywhere I've read, it seems to be the case that there is no place in Puerto Vallarta where you can buy the cards, believe it or not. But they are available, apparently, at every subway stop in Guadalajara. So one of the missions that I have for myself when I go to Guadalajara in a couple of weekends is to find out everything I can about these cards and hopefully get one for myself. When I look at the requirements, you need to have a Mexican voting card in order to get one. So I want to confirm that this is the case because it would be a bummer if people that are not Mexican nationals cannot get a card as well. So I'm going to be in Guadalajara. I'll clarify the situation. If I can get more than one, they're only 30 pesos each. I may even buy a bunch of them and bring them back to friends that may need them. But again, the first thing that I need to know is whether one can buy them. One can buy more than one. And number two, if you can buy one if you're not a Mexican national or you don't have a permanent resident card. So I'll hopefully have more information about that in the future. So that was the first one. The second one is this one. I wonder how you go about choosing businesses, particularly restaurants, that you highlight. If by chance it is based on suggestions from your audience, I would love to recommend that you highlight Brooklyn Cafe. And this goes on to mention that it's become a must-visit restaurant for many tourists, particularly from the Black and LGBTQIA plus community. It apparently was owned by someone else in the past, but it has new ownership and it has flourished. The person that wrote says, it's such a warm environment and there's always delicious food. No kidding, the best chicken wings ever. And some fun gathering taking place. I hope you get a chance to check it out if you haven't already. So let me answer the part about how I choose businesses, because I think it's an excellent question. For people that are not in the know, it might seem as though I am a little biased. If you'll allow me, let me do a little bit of history. Will you allow me? Please say yes. Thank you. When we started Coffee and Headlines 4 years ago, we couldn't go eat anywhere because the pandemic had just started. We were expected to stay home. So we began mentioning restaurants that seemed trustworthy by COVID-19 standards. In other words, we would go to a restaurant, we would see that they would respect social distancing, and needless to say that their food was good. Sorry, I can't see much when my eyeglasses are dirty. And that's what we did at the beginning. In fact, for years, we had and continue to have a map called Versailles for Foodies, which included some of these preferred or recommended restaurants during the pandemic. But truth be told, I haven't touched that map in months, simply because I don't have the budget or the time to go sauntering from restaurant to restaurant that I used to have. And so I don't do it that way anymore. Now, how do I choose businesses to highlight? Um, if you mean like when I put together a video or take photos and so forth and so on, well, that can happen in one of two ways. If I happen to be walking by a place and it looks groovy and the people are nice and I get a good vibe, I have no qualms about stopping and taking photos and video and turning it into something. If a business, on the other hand, says to me, come take photos and video of my business, I will say, well, you can sponsor a walk around feature of your business. And I'm happy to report that a few businesses have done this. And I have a couple of people waiting for a walk around that I'm going to be producing in the near future. But for the person that sent me this message, you have no idea how important it is to me that you take the time to write. Because when you take the time to write and explain why you believe something is important and other people should know about it, then it says to me that it means enough to you that you took the time to write. So I'm always happy to mention places and restaurants and businesses that are mentioned to me by trusted friends or anyone that takes the time to write. So I hope I answered everything related to that. In a nutshell, your feedback is very, very much appreciated when it comes to new businesses and things that are going on out there, because Puerto Vallarta is a really large city. Now, do I enjoy... No, let me start again, because I want to make sure that I convey this properly. No, that's not it either. Okay, in a perfect world, because we created the Spotlight, our Wednesday afternoon show, for restaurants and businesses to toot their own horn, in a perfect world, for me, I would love it if more businesses and restaurants would take advantage of the Spotlight and trust that in the future, more will. For example, I got this lovely note from Miranda from Monzon Brewing, where she told us that for the entire month of July, you can visit Monzon to play and win. They're going to have a bingo, and each square of the bingo has a certain item that needs to be purchased, and it earns you a stamp. When an entire row or column or diagonal is stamped out, participants win a free beer of their choice, and then there are other details, and you can even participate in a grand prize raffle. Now, am I grateful that Miranda took the time to write this? Of course I am. Do I look forward to checking it out? Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, because this Saturday, there's going to be an event that I want to check out at Monzon, which I'll mention in a second. But would I rather have people like Miranda tell us with their own voice and share their own excitement with their own voice by coming live on the broadcast? I would very much rather it happen that way, because ultimately there's only so much I can convey about the news from other people. But Miranda, if it bugs your schedule, or if you're not able to come live at 4, you can certainly continue to send me these wonderful notices. Of course, I appreciate that not everybody is available at 4. 4 might be like the middle of your rush hour, and it might be totally inconvenient for you to do that. And that was that. Now, speaking of restaurants, Good Muffin shared this one with me last week, shared this one in the broadcast last week. Honestly, I don't even remember, because I get high and I forget things. But Logan mentioned this. Tuk Tuks. This is a brand new place, an Asian restaurant that is opening in Versalles either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. It is dangerously close to my place, and it is dangerously on the path between my place and the Soriana, which used to be a mega on the main avenue. And I've already checked out their menu, and it looks extremely delicious and affordable. And I am going to put that in the show notes along with the Facebook page for Monzon and the one for Brooklyn Cafe, because again, it's ultimately all about spreading the word and creating great connections with and for everyone. Last but not least, of course, the spotlight is coming on Wednesday, a great opportunity to share information. And the other event that I wanted to mention, where did it go? This is the pop-up art show that is going to go on at Monzon this Saturday. It starts at 4 o'clock and goes on till 10 p.m. And also on Saturday, there's going to be another art show in the neighborhood. And this one is the Queen's Bazaar, a joint co-work from 2 to 6. So you can get to the neighborhood early, stop by the Queen's Bazaar, and then just saunter to the other side of Emiliano Zapata and check out this other art show at Monzon and play bingo and eat food and do all these wonderful things. It sounds like a perfect Saturday for anyone that is going to be in that neck of the woods. And this, well, I might as well tell you about this again because I haven't mentioned my own event, which is coming up a week from this Thursday, Mambo Madness, the Mambo movement and its musical maestros. We're going to do a great Mambo presentation on Thursday, July 11 from 5 to 6:45 at the Joint Boutique Hotel. And now, let's turn the attention to you and your wonderful comments, and let's see what is out there. Oh, I thought there would be more comments. Fascinating. There are more comments. Okay, so let me rewind and see what we have. Boom, 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 boom. Lots of good mornings. Thank you so much for those. Hola, 12 days until I'm back at my condo in Villa Las Flores. Curious as to how hot it actually is in PV in July. Well, that makes two of us. It's barely the beginning of July, but what I can say, Kathy, is we tell you the weather forecast every single day. If you're curious about what it's going to be like, all you have to do is come back and watch every single day. And happy birthday. Yay. Let's see what else we have. Good morning, everyone. Intersections are flooded per usual, but might swim on down to Let's Pho later, says Betsy Ann. Be careful with all that caca water moving about. Let's see what else we have. Difficult getting the dog out between bursts. Yes, it's been wet since last night. I have to go to Costco and La Comer this morning to get coffee. So I certainly appreciate that it's going to require some hopping to get there. Pim, 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 pim. Do you still get lots of tourists in the rain season? Of course we do. Let's see what else we do. What else? Oh my God, that's a great question, and that's a great answer. What is the rental market like for locals? And then Albert says, exactly the same as for non-locals. That is correct. I love it. Let's see what else we have. A new person, Erlinda Esparza. Buenos dias, good morning. Will everybody say hello to Erlinda, who is a new person, is watching this morning? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to our little cheerful morning group. What else do we have? Oh, Muffin, don't get me started. I mean, it's like this is the party of austerity that is running our city right now. Hello. Don't, no, don't, let's not even go there. Ha ha. Ay, 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 ay. Da, 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 da. Albert says Brooklyn Cafe has no ventilation for the kitchen. Brooklyn Cafe. I wonder who would name a place Brooklyn Cafe in Puerto Vallarta. And this is no dissing or anything. It's just, I'm just curious. Why Brooklyn Cafe? Cassandra. Oh, yes, Cassandra. It was you. It was you who asked me about the questions, about the recommendations. Thank you so much again for such a sweet long note. I really appreciate those. And thank you so much for recommending Brooklyn Cafe. I wonder why it's called Brooklyn Cafe, but it's just me. And when I said that, I sounded like Donald Trump, and I won't sleep well for 3 days just because I said what I just said. Okay, moving right along. Oh, how sweet. Wish you were nearby, Paco. I would make you a fine espresso from Angela in Toronto. That is so sweet. You know, I was going to go get coffee yesterday, but I got lazy. And I said to myself, you're going to have no coffee tomorrow morning. Are you going to be okay? And Luna said, you're going to be okay. So I am caffeine less, but I will go to supermarket shortly. Let's see what else. Oh, okay, fair. The wedding needs the what the fuck perico. Unleash the parrot. Going once, going twice. Here is the what the fuck parrot for your consideration.
What the fuck? Jerry. What the fuck? What the fuck?
And there you go. And this brings us to the end. Oh, don't dummy. Jerome Davis says the owner of the Brooklyn Cafe is from Brooklyn, New York. Duh. And I say, well, does that inspire customers to go in? Duh. And if I can get a little bit on top of my stool for a second, Jerome, I am asking the question simply from the point of view of, number one, is your business attractive to locals and foreigners? And number two, is it original, interesting, or otherwise bound to give people curiosity? Duh. Have a good day.